position. The reason for that is that there's about 10 litres difference. Payne put 20 litres on, it's 19.5 on our numbers, so let's call it 20. And David Reynolds put 30 litres in. So that 10 litres, longer stop time for David Reynolds, has parked him just a little bit back from where he was originally versus Kostecki. I'm interested in the internal policy at Penrite. Oh, big dive there by Waters, tries to sneak the Monster Mustang down the inside of Chaz at turn 4. He was semi-committed to it. He was on the inside. He looked like he was going to clear the brake and pop the nose down the inside. It just didn't quite materialise, but he does look like he's got better pace. I'm interested in this little battle here again. Cam down there, not quite. This is shaping up as a half drama because he can look in the mirror and see Van Gisbergen. I reckon Cam's saying, I don't want to play like I played yesterday with Shane. I want to play moving forward.
Jack Rocky just saw confirmed there's also being warned about track limits. Now, at the second stops yesterday, for Cam Waters were on lap 53 and for Shane Van Gisbergen on lap 56. Just keep a bit of an eye as these laps tick down how they go now in this mid-stint. Two-stop race. Waters has got some pace. He's aggressively just showing the nose here at the moment with his buddy. These guys are going to have a major attack down here on the left-hander. That's also going to make Mostert vulnerable when he gets to the end of the back straight. So Waters cleans him up, moves up into position number 4. He was very fast yesterday. Up and over the first, the second and the third curves. No, Mozzie got a nice run through there and protected himself, and both of them turning in from the perfect racing line down there.
Didn't have to block.
No. And that's what you don't want to have to do. The minute you start to cover, you immediately begin to harm your own lap time. Makes you even more vulnerable. Because if you don't, it's an easy beat, straight down the inside. He's on him once again. This is the run up to the north towards turn 11. He's good off the exit of the chicane, Mostert. He's got good strength there. Just a little bit weaker in a couple of these slower corners. You can see the turning pace that Shane carries through turn 11. Huge concentration required for both the boys here, and you can see that Chaz is really battling the back of that car through turn 12. More pressure again out of 13. And then it's a jig to the right and another to the left here in this final corner. And this is where Shane's been very strong this weekend. Shallow exit, gets it up the inside, but he just used a little bit too much advance on the throttle, and it cracked sideways when he didn't want it, and that just gave a breather to Chaz.
That's where we saw him yesterday with a little speed advantage over Cam Waters, also in those low speed 90-degree style corners. They've got a better run this time.
This time, though, vulnerable down the inside, and a beautiful move there, and a little return of serve from Chaz on Shane. They've had some epic battles over the years. There was one quite a few years back up in Townsville that was textbook and a professional exchange. And they get as good as they get, but they race so well together.
The Waters versus Payne gap has closed right up also now. So Cam Waters has made ground on that Payne.
Looks like he's got pretty decent speed in this stick, Cam. Frosty was crossed up on the exit of the first chicane then when he landed. A lot of good solid battles, a long way from resolved out there at the moment. We had that first early safety car intervention. Things have been relatively quiet in that regard since then. Golding making a brake bias adjustment down there to the left of the steering wheel down below. You can see it's on that rotary knob. Just trimming the amount of brake bias percentage either front to rear on that car. It's a dive that almost gets away with it. And it's going to take the next corner before he closes that deal.
Well done. Good driving by both of them. It was a late dive. It was a pretty wild one because we've seen some great images there over the years. That Scott McLaughlin dive on Mark Winterbottom years ago, and the Volvo was one that comes to mind immediately.
Not much in it between these guys now. Meantime, 2.8 seconds the gap between Kostecki and Reynolds. Not much in it when it comes to the refuel now for their second and final stop of the day. We think at the moment that margin's slightly in favour of David Reynolds, and that seesaws depending on their lap speed and the precise amounts of fuel that have got to be dropped into those cars.
And Brody was the fastest car on the track last lap, so that bodes well for him. Van Gisbergen was second fastest, Reynolds was third fastest. So have a look at the gap there. Cam's been able to put a lot of ground on this, hasn't he? He's made a lot of time up on Matt Payne.
Just a reminder also to download the all-new Supercars app by the Apple App Store or Google Play. If you want to keep up with all the latest news, videos, lots of great content, the Supercars app is now available, fully revamped for 2023. Here we go, down the inside, turn 4, Cam Waters lines him up, he squeezes down the inside on the rear brake, had the wriggle going, and now clears the spot as Mark Winterbottom comes into the pit lane.
That's all teams, bad sportsmanship flag to car 88 for exceeding track limits.
Feeney gets a whack from the umpire, bad sportsmanship flag for him. Mark's keeping a track of these again today. It's a pretty lengthy old list that we dealt with last night. Left your screen is Winterbottom.
Okay, 5 seconds to clear to go on your drop. Yeah, still clear. Still clear.
Frosty's having a good run today.
Yes, it's not a bad policy to be first to do this.
Still clear.
Because if you get a safety car or whatever, track position is you're right, you're home. So I think this is clever. He's been right in the game all day.
And as I speak, that margin's opened up. Kostecki and Reynolds are down the inside with fresh rubber. Nice move for Chaz Boston. Gets the job done on Matt Payne. Waters on the left side of screen.
Shane was just told the pit, and he said, "Can I go one more?" And they said, "Yes, no worries." So that battle there now, because Boston's put a move on Payne. It'll be interesting to see what happens here with Shane, whether he does take the stop now. He's not going to put a move on. I thought he was going to fire down the inside of Matt Payne. He might do it here. He might do it here. He does. He does. And he's got him.
And Frosty's also buying in here as well. He's tucked in behind Payne, so he did make some profit out of all that. And now the Dewalt entry also in an awkward spot up on the outside there, and he's got his teammate in behind him. The Hino entry just making contact briefly with Mark Winterbottom. Scott Pine just getting a little touch up as they all try and sort themselves out.
All teams, bad sportsmanship flag to car 97 for exceeding track limits.
Oh, Shane Van Gisbergen, who's just coming into the pit lane,
Sportsmanship flag to car 97.
has also just been given a warning about exceeding. So Van Gisbergen in from Payne, Golding, Brown, all in for their final stops of the day.
One more.
Critical stop here for Payne and for Van Gisbergen that are in the battle for this race. Left rear giving them some problems? No, all sorted.
Payne and Van Gisbergen should be pretty close.
It is. And you can't play games with this one. You've got to deliver the ultimate 100 litres to clear the requirement. You can play games citing the other competitor in the first stop. They've released Matt. Now they release Gizzy, who drops in behind in front of Brown. Look how tight that is. There goes Waters. Kostecki's in the lead now by 4.2 seconds. He's almost got the margin back mark in the corrected order. On our computer, it's showing 0.2 of a second. What a race. Laps remain of 85. Shane Van Gisbergen's just been given a warning about exceeding track limits, and just as I open my mouth, we've got a 5-second penalty here for Chaz Boston. They've smartened up the back of that car in the last stop. They put fresh tyres on it, and he's actually been going very, very quickly. So Van Gisbergen's out of lives when it comes to hopping over the curbs here at the moment. But what's been happening is that Brody has been buying back bit of the lost margin with lap speed. David Reynolds has got some fuel in hand for their final stop of the day, and it was looking like it was going to be line ball, and if anything, the pendulum has swung slightly now back in favour of Brody Kostecki by virtue of the pace that he's got and the slight drift in pace for David Reynolds.
Actually caught up with Adam DeBore after that pit stop at Chas Moss and said, "Oh, do you mind if I ask which way you went on the right eye?" And he said, "We're just looking for a bit of rear grip. We went down on the rear right eye." So from the driver's point of view now, Chas is going to have a little bit more rear grip and rear stability. But on the flip side, the car may understeer a little bit more, might lose a bit of front grip, but it means if he can manage that understeer better, he'll have a bit longer stint and a bit longer life in those rear tyres throughout this stint.
Welcome to the lovely, wonderful world of table tennis.
Infinity Arena. Game on.
Got a battle on our hands here. It's what we've all been waiting for. Oh my goodness! I cannot believe what we just saw. The face and the focus on that replays for days. And the world #1 does it. Joshua takes it. A sweet victory.
We know there's roughly about a 4-second advantage between Reynolds and Kostecki on fuel. How is this going to play out for their final stops? We're about to find out. Little tweak for the back of Brock's car here as well.
So the story for the lead between Kostecki and Reynolds is a ripper, and you've basically wrapped that up. There's nothing in that. The bit we haven't captured,
Here we go. Sorry,
the bit we haven't captured is this immense battle also between Waters and Golding for the podium. There's nothing in that for third and fourth.
get this right, and they win the race. Any fumble here is going to cost Erebus.
Everyone, stop here, boys.
34 seconds of fuel required.
Alright, boys. Waiting on fuel. Going to be about 31 seconds wash. That lane is clear. About 30. That lane is still clear.
Meantime, Reynolds has been told to push.
All about the fuel, getting the fuel nozzle on now. You'll get the tyres on done in time. They got the fuel nozzle on quickly. There is that fuel offset. The difference between what Dave Reynolds has to take on now and what Brody Kostecki has already taken on. So the team in the door at the moment, they're refueling the dry ice to make sure Dave's nice and cool for this run home. They've done a tear off, and you sit here and wait. And see Dave, he's looking at the fuel rig. He's not interested in the car controller. He's going to be ready to go as soon as he sees that fuel rig start to disconnect from the car. Launches out a little bit tardy leaving the box, but this is going to be super tight.
Super tight indeed. We're on board here with Brody. We're watching the creeping, crawling pace of David Reynolds departing the pit lane. 40 kilometres an hour feels like you are literally crawling. Here it is. Here we go. This is how tight it's going to be on the rejoin. There's not going to be very in this. That's what the map has been suggesting. And now that will be the margin that defines the battle to the checkered flag. Little advantage in favour here of David Reynolds. And Cam Waters, just like it is with Shane Van Gisbergen, has been given the bad sportsmanship flag. So people are running out of lives at the critical end of this race. $18 to go is the call. Nice work. It's officially 0.5.
What do you do if you're Brody? So do you actually have a major attack with a 140-point lead over Van Gisbergen now. He's second, Shane's sixth. So do you have a major attack and risk the result? Or do you park yourself in there, put as much pressure as you can on, and try to force a mistake without actually making a bold move? I mean, there's a lot going on in that helmet right now.
My guesstimate at this stage, and that's all it's going to be, is that he's got the eyes on Brody. He doesn't want to change his normal routine or his rhythm, so he'll poke and probe here. If it, 0.3 of a second, if it looks like it can be done without too much risk, he'll take that opportunity. But I don't think he'll drag the wheels off it in the process. Even though he's relatively new to this game, he's driving with great maturity, 25 years of age. Came in this race weekend with 95 of our races under his belt, 96 as of yesterday, and his conversion rate so far this year has been seriously impressive. So now forget about what the numbers are and the computer timing. He is all over the back of David Reynolds. He's sweating on him now. So he's in that zone where David could be vulnerable. A little slip up, a lock break, a tiny error will make the difference. And he's having that dive that Mark just spoke about, and he is willing to risk everything to go down the inside. He's got the nose of the Camaro there, and there's a bit of side draft that could go on here. Nothing between these guys as they fire them north at 240 kilometres an hour. Reynolds slams the door in as they make their way to the high-speed chicane. Through 6, 7, 8, 9, out the other side. No damage done. Margin held by Reynolds. In the braking area now for 11. Second gear, left-hander, turn 11. 80 kilometres an hour. Up and over the camber rise in the road. Jink in the road at 12. Still got some margin in hand. More shadows in this part of the racetrack. What's the back of David's car look like? If you're Brody, do you sense some weakness? Is he sliding? Is he locking brakes? Is he flapping under pressure? Not in that part of the racetrack, he's not. And he's got good drive traction.
Thanks so much to everyone here. Just push for us.
Try like hell. It means so much. Go get him, David, is the message. 0.4. In fact, he's opened the margin by a couple of tenths there.
I'm feeling like it's just a bit early to be desperate. I'm feeling like you got to run him longer into this stint and see what happens with the balance of the car. Make David keep on pressing on and keep on assessing what the rear tyre looks like on the Penrite Mustang.
It is a big ask in the mid-teens to push and push at a quality intent at this point. With that sort of exertion, both of them could find themselves in trouble if they get too greedy with tyres. They do need to stretch them to get to the end. He's all over the back of him one more time, coming out of turn 11. It was cheerleading from Al in the background, nothing to do with engineering there a moment ago.
It was complete sport psychology, wasn't it?
He wants him to understand what it means to the men and women in there, and he's giving him a little rough up here to unsettle him. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Push on, mate. Push on.
Brody knows that
Brody
knows that a bump and run can get him in trouble as well. So what he's trying to do here at the moment is unsettle him. And that'll be happening. When you cop a whack from somebody like that, you'll be careful to control the anger, and he gets it all out of shape. Reynolds crossed the top of the island that time and had to protect himself by going straight through. There is some signs here that the pressure is on, and we've got 15 laps. Fight is the word from his employers. His engineer, Alistair McVeighn's telling him to get stuck in, put your head down, get your elbows up, do not give these blokes 1 millimetre. Brody's on him once again as they make their run up towards the turn 11 left-hander. This is where he's been very strong, and he niggled him coming out of the final corner on the previous lap. He just gave him a slap in the rear of it. And Van Gisbergen's angry and animated on the radio in the background. Something was a joke. He's 13 seconds off the lead, and he's expressing enormous frustration. Back to the lead, though. And it's another little touch-up, and he had to back away from him. He gave him such a whack then that there was a lot of opposite block required to recover. Reynolds is under extreme pressure here. Next time through, it's 14 to go. Brody's rattling on him, trying to unsettle him out of position. He must be very careful of a bump and run. If he pushes him and gains from it, he'll get a penalty.
And he's got to be so careful. He's got to be so careful, and he's done it. He's done it.
held him up high as they make their way out of turn 4. David pushes him back across to the left side of the road. Now they've got to sort out this arrangement here. Who's got right of way? And Brody gets it done.
He's wide. He just ran wide. Kostecki just outbraked himself, and Reynolds gets back down the inside.
Wow.
That's a very, very strong manoeuvre by David Reynolds. Come from a little mistake by Kostecki, and that's not over. This is not over at all. Alistair McVeigh just said to Reynolds before that move was on, give him a taste of his own medicine is what it was.
Come on, David, come on. Head down. Let's go. Let's do it again.
He's into it. He's cheerleading and coaching hard, Alistair McVeigh. So he's back in front. He's got track position one more time. But the question here that I'm wondering out loud is how much are they hurting? He's looking in the mirror to see where he is in the braking area into turn 4 and whether or not he needs to cover. But how much energy are they taking from the tyre because they've gone into sprint mode and we've still got 11 laps to go. So does that play an advantage here for Waters and Golding, who are battling for the next spot on the podium for 3rd and 4th? But it's hard to take your eyes from this at the moment. The respective garages are glued to the monitors as well. They're seeing exactly the same images, plus all the microsectors on the timing. So a nice little comeback here for David Reynolds. And that gentleman that you saw on the left-hand side of the screen is the engineer, and they've been a duo for a long period of time. It's a different scenario to yesterday where Waters so hungry for a victory, but it was the opposite. He was quite prepared to turn it into a canoe, rip the wheels off it if need be, fight to the death. It's not the same situation for Brody. He's our championship leader. A misstep for him changes the context of the championship enormously. Al's given us the call. 8 to go. 8 times 3. 3 kilometres around this racetrack. Reynolds is clinging on here. Remember, he's on the move at the back end of the year. He's changing team. Richie Stanaway comes into Penrite Racing in 2024. Reynolds will be saying goodbye and he's off to Team 18. Right now, though, he's only interested in one thing. Race victory on the Gold Coast. He's done it before, back in 2013. And he's got a little taste of it going here at the moment. Now, Golding...
there's going to be a massive shot. That was unbelievable. He spun that car around and Scott Pye had nowhere to go.
Everybody feel good? You going?
What was all that about?
So I think there was contact with...
I saw the movement on the computer, so Pye's got damaged. He may not get it back. We might get a safety car late in the game here. There's nothing going on up the front here in terms of the margin. They are locked together. Forget about the computer. He is stopped out there.
Yeah, he's going to have to...
Now, this is going to be a problem. What a headache for race control. But this is going to have the effect, if they throw the SC boards and the yellow flags, of potentially pulling the field up. He has a look down the inside, Kostecki, as they make their way into the braking area, into one. And he's got the thing crossed up again, David Reynolds. He had it skating on the rear tyres, and he's only just barely got out the other side. So now we've got 7 laps to go in this high-pressure scenario.
Safety car boards and flags, safety car boards and flags.
Safety car to recover the Hino car of Scott Pye. So the race loses all its energy for now, and it will go berserk at the back end.
It certainly will, and they were both told for sure that you had to either hold on if you're David Reynolds or you had to have a lunge, Brody Kostecki, before the safety car come out. Both teams would have been advised. Both drivers understood what was going on there and the repercussions.
I caught Goldie drifting all of a sudden on the computer. You screamed when you saw what was going, and here's the reason why. So there was some wild stuff going on in the background. That's Waters. Here we go with James. He's given the tyres a big belt in there and rotated out the other side. I saw him go down the order. You spotted all this going on, but Pye is a victim in the process in the Hino entry.
Right now,
There. And that's pretty significant damage on car number 20. So he's grabbed the gear, rotated it, but at the same time, and I wonder how that'll be viewed. Here we are on board now with James, and we've been talking up the possibility of a podium for him. big contact. Remember, he was in strife on the Sunday here in the fast chicane last year, James Goldie. This is the view for Scott Pine. Nowhere to go for him as that other car, number 20, the Hino car, was starting to move. I beg your pardon, the Newon car was starting to move to the right, and the Hino car nowhere to go.
What's he do? Does he go straight away, or does he hold him up like Brody did earlier? He goes straight away.
Just getting on with it. That's a nice job. He just cracked the throttle, got on with the job of race driving. No games. So this is all about a sprint race to the end. Drive like your life depends on it. 4 remaining. 12 kilometres. David Reynolds is searching for a victory. Did he give those tyres a rub there on cold tyres? If he didn't, he went mighty close to it. They're down at the turn 4 hairpin. He's got a car and a half length advantage as he pops out the other side. The championship leaders behind him. Cam Waters in 3rd position. Matt Payne next in the queue. Then it's Shane Van Gisbergen. He's got the lights on.
How was that commitment at the first chicane by David Reynolds? He turned to the right and absolutely escaped sideways. He used everything and used the tyres to straighten himself up.
Davey's done a great job on this lap. Yep, he's done a beautiful job on this lap. He's made a tiny little bit of margin. Every millimetre matters right at the moment.
Have a look at the stress with all the personnel down in that garage. And look at that, the 2 protagonists at the front have gapped everybody. They gapped them all. There's a second to the next car.
Oh, we've got problems here for Hazelwood pointing in the wrong direction now as well. Is he going to be able to clear that space? We've now got 3 laps remaining. 0.4 of a second. Has Brody got anything by way of response? He made that little mistake. He yielded the lead. That was cleaner that time through for Reynolds. This is where Brody's been very, very quick through the weekend. Heading north now, out of the turn 4 hairpin. Reynolds holds his advantage. Waters and Payne have dropped off a little bit, so the eyes are clearly focused now on these guys. They do have pace in hand.
Hazelwood has been able to move that car. He's clear now.
He's skipping away.
Yes.
Reynolds is skipping away ever so gently. It's 0.56 of a second.
All teams, bad sponsorship flag to car 19 for exceeding track limits.
Matt Payne in 4th position has just been given a critical warning about exceeding as well. That's him right there, in behind Cam Waters. And he's just in front of Van Gisbergen. Someone's cranky on the radio asking that a protest be put in, but I'm not sure who it was. Did you catch who it was?
No, it was probably the scanner as to who it was. So 2 laps to go. Alistair McBain has turned from engineer to sports psychologist this afternoon. And he's doing everything he can to keep David Reynolds motivated, concentrating on the task ahead.
3 times this year, David Reynolds has been on the podium for 3rd positions. Can he pull off something big on the Gold Coast this afternoon? At the moment, he's got 0.6 of a second in hand. He's driving for his own pride. He's driving for the pride of the team. He's driving for Penrite and everybody in Grove that have been working so hard in this program. He had a problem with the brake bias yesterday. It ended up full forward and overheated those front brakes. And he's managing every millimetre of this racetrack at the moment to try and cling to a possible victory. For Brody Kostecki, the complexion of this is entirely different. He's the championship leader. He's got 104 points in his back pocket at the moment. He's already got 6 victories to his credit. He can't afford a mistake or a penalty. He's just given him another little tickle up out of the final quarter. Next time round, it is 1 lap to go. It's 2,900 metres at racetrack. Can Reynolds hang on for this nail biter? The 2nd day in a row, we've got a cracking race on the Gold Coast. Reynolds hangs on into turn 1. He's got the slide going. That's the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen him do it. The thing broke wide, and that'll raise some eyebrows up and down the lane. That protected him also down at the hairpin.
It certainly did. So, 11.5. Last lap, Brody Kostecki just did the fastest lap of the race, and everyone's blowing up deluxe about him going through that first chicane.
will certainly raise eyebrows, as I said a few moments ago. The back of the car, though, had broken loose, and there'll be a lot of discussion about that one later, and it's crossed up again on the run into turn 11. Right at the moment, Reynolds has only got 4 corners remaining, separating him from victory. He's still got a car length in hand. Now he points it into the sun, down towards 14 and 15 for the last time. We'll come back to all the sporting and political questions later. He's getting a rough on from Brody. He's out the other side. And David Reynolds is able to put the pedal to the metal and stitch together a race victory on the Gold Coast for the first time since 2018 for him back in victory lane.
What a cracking race. What a cracking race between those two. Big moment for Penrite Racing. Big moment for Stephen and Brenton Grove, for the men and women in that team.
Well, it's been 5 years since David Reynolds has been in the Pertec victory lane. 2018 was your last race with Davey, and you've done it here on the Gold Coast. A lot of emotion in this one. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was. My car was really good in the first 2 stints and not so good in the last, and that's why I struggled a little bit. But I'm just so over the moon. Really happy for everyone at Penrite Racing. It's been a long time coming. They're one of the hardest working people, bunch of people I've ever worked with. So, you know, it's everything to them, and you know, it's just a huge performance by the team. It was an awesome all weekend. So, you know, I've got all our sponsors to thank, and all the team to thank as well. They've just been really supportive of me all year, and the last 3 years have been great. And yeah, it's unreal.
And what wonderful supercar racing we've had all weekend. Let's confirm those results for you. For race number 26 of the championship, and home by a margin of .188 of a second. David Reynolds over Brody Kostecki in another